Hi, welcome back to Sinisum. This movie name will be revealed at the end. Please watch till the end. Li is a 6-time-old monk studying in the Shaolin Monastery. He has lived in the friary and trained in martial trades his entire life. At the morning of the movie, Li walks into the friary and apologizes to his seniors for what he's about to do. He has to showcase his chops by fighting them. Without him releasing, a monk attacks him from the side. Li incontinently dodges, indeed though the attack took him by surprise. The monk manages to throw Li to the wall, but he bounces right back and continues to fight. He showers the monk with several kicks skyline, displaying his chops. Moments laterally, the first monk is defeated when Li restrains him with a woven bamboo handbasket. Following that, he's attacked by the alternate monk armed with brands. Li manages to disarm his opponent, leaving him with no choice but to accept defeat. Also, he approaches the third and last monk. Indeed, when planning, the monk senses Li coming towards him and uses a prayer blob to impeccably hit the glass in a way that blinds Li. Also, in lower than an alternate, the sprat is picked up and thrown to the ground. The monk is about to win with the last blow, but Li slides down and kicks him in the casket. The two battle and in the end Li wins again. He curvatures to the sanctum and walks outside, while his opponents bow to him as a sign of respect. The head monk tells Li that he scored 88 out of 100 in the test, which is better than at most scholars his age. Li is about to go to a new academy in the megacity as an exchange pupil. During his stay there, he's supposed to live with a family of 3, sired by a great scientist who's close to the head monk. After wishing farewell, the sprat leaves for the megacity, agitated to meet new people. In the ensuing scene, we're introduced to 15-time-old Feng, the chief of the taekwondo club in his academy. He has a 4th grader family Shanshan, who always cheers for her aged family and loves him dearly. The director of the academy taekwondo club is Lan. She analyzes Feng's matches and gives him a summary of what he could have done better. Lan also seems to have a crush on him, but denies it when asked. Lan's family Yu is a gourmandizer who loves to eat further than anything in the world. The 4 of them live in the same neighborhood and are enough near to each other. One autumn, Lan is assaying the former day's taekwondo match as always, while her family Yu binges on chips and snacks. The stock's father is a scientist named Dr. Han. Their mama failed him many times ago, after which, Dr. Han has indulged himself in his work. He's working on a special device that a group of mobsters is interested in. Dr. Han calls the kiddies to ask them how they're doing. Lan is irked because her father is no way home with them. Dr. Han promises to return back as soon as possible and tells them to open a gift box that he has just transferred to the house. In reality, the box contains the special device he has created that the gang is after. As they're talking, Li knocks on their door and is entered by Lan. She gets busy drinking him and does an apostrophe T notice that her father is being kidnapped on the other side of the videotape call. The leader of the gang, Larry, threatens Dr. Han to hand them the important device. Dr. Han, on the other hand, claims that there's no similar device. What he has been working on is an AI technology that will allow his kiddies to talk to an AI with their mama's voice. The leader doesn't believe him and holds him hostage. On checking the CCTV camera footage, he finds out that the device has been packed to his home and entered by his children. 2 of Larry's henchmen, Sloppy and Fist, levy to recoup the device no matter what. Until they get hold of it, Dr. Han will be kept hostage. Sloppy and Fist are agitated because this is their first job as mobsters. They dress up in eccentric clothes as a disguise and arrive in front of Lan's house. Sloppy passes to barge in when it gets dark, but Fist suggests they stay until the kiddies leave for academy the coming day. Meanwhile, Li is getting habituated to the new terrain. He sees Lan watching a taekwondo match on television and is fascinated by the sport. Latterly, he tries to do his diurnal nighttime contemplation, while Yu plays a videotape game. Both of them disturb each other and find it hard to live together, but soon, they play the videotape game together and bond over it. In her room, Lan opens that box transferred by her father and sees a panda keychain outside. What she doesn't know is that it also holds a pen drive that the gang is looking for. On pressing a button, the panda asks Lan to set a voice-actuated word. She exclaims what word which is said as the new word without her knowing. On testing it further, she realizes that the panda is an AI that has their mama's voice. The coming morning, Li gets ready for his first day of academy, alongside Yu and Lan. Sloppy and Fist watch them from inside their auto, planning to break in right after they're out of sight. But just also, Sloppy notices that Lan has hung the panda keychain in her bag. They change plans and decide to steal it from her. On the way to Academy, the group meets Feng and his family Shanshan. Lan introduces him to Li. As they are talking, Sloppy fleetly abductions the key ring and walks down. Li notices this and does a high jump and several backflips to get to him. Feng is impressed to see that he's a professed fighter. They both beat him up and get the panda, but Sloppy does an apostrophe to give up. He abductions it yet again, not learning his assignment from the first time. The kitties soon compass him and trap him inside a scrap caddy, before pushing him down the road. In the academy, Li is introduced to his classmates who are amazed to see a child monk for the first time. They ask him questions like if he can ever get wetted and if he knows kung fu. The school teacher quiets them down and asks them to stay for the spa period to see his kung fu chops. During the spa class, the trainer informs them of a fitness test that will be held coming month. The bones who don't pass the test will have to repeat the class coming time as well. Yu is upset because he's out of shape and can slightly walk dually. Their first task is to run 100 measures. A trained Li completes 2 stages before his classmates can complete indeed one. Next, they're asked to do push-ups, one of numerous specialties that Li has. He does more than 100, while the other kitties can hardly do 2. To show his true capabilities, he indeed does push-ups with a single hand and also with his body perpendicular. Everyone cheers and praises him. Also, it's time for them to do high jumps. Elementary school high jumps are a piece of cutlet for Li. Still, Yu struggles and falls face down on the platform. Back in Dr. Han's lab, the gangbanger Larry has tied him to a president and is hitting him with golf balls. To keep himself entertained, Dr. Han teaches him new ways at his own expenditure. At night, Sloppy and Fist break into the house looking for the panda. Li sees them and hides behind a stuffed toy to scarify them. He troubles the novitiate mobsters, but they soon see him and try to fight him. When Lan comes downward, the mobsters snare the panda and run down. Li tells them what happened, but the siblings suppose he's joking. In the ensuing scene, Sloppy and Fist are at the lab with golf balls in their mouths. It turns out that they accidentally stole a panda humidifier rather of the special device. Larry has to vend the said device to his guests in 3 days, which makes him intolerant. He uses Fist and Sloppy as golf tees to hang them to complete the task hastily. The following day after Academy, the group is watching Feng fight against an opponent. Yu and Shanshan are talking about 2 unattractive girls in the reverse of the bleacher. It turns out that the said girls are Sloppy and Fist in disguise. They eye the panda on Lan's bag and stay for the right time to recoup it. Just also, Li challenges Feng to a match, and everyone goes to the front to watch it. Behind them, the goons try to take off the panda from the bag, but their toupee gets wedged, making them struggle. As the violent fight continues, we see that Feng and Li match in chops. It ends suddenly when both the actors refuse to hit each other. Just also everyone turns around and sees Sloppy and Fist in their academy girl dresses. The kitties attack the mobsters, but the 2 manage to flee with the panda after taking a girl hostage. The scholars go to the Star and call the police who promise to do their stylish to find them. Li blames himself for what happened because if he hadn't challenged Feng to a fight, Lan wouldn't be detracted. The rest of the group makes him understand that they don't condemn him. Larry eventually gets the panda and uses the pen drive inside it to open a program on a computer. Still, it requires a word to be penetrated. Larry asks Dr. Han what the word is, but he refuses to tell them. A couple of programmers try to break the law, but indeed after trying for an entire day, they aren't successful. By the end of it, Larry starts to lose his mind and has an internal breakdown. Also, he sees Lan's communication on Dr. Han's phone and decides to use her to blackmail him. Lan has asked her father to come to her birthday hereafter. Larry replies as Dr. Han and claims that he'll be there on time. The coming evening, Lan and her musketeers gather at her house for the birthday party. Meanwhile, Feng, Yu, Li, and Shanshan have gone to the request to get her presents. Lan gets a communication from her father, saying that he's outdoors. Still, on going out to check, she's kidnapped and put inside a van. At the same time, Lee and the group spot her and follow the van on their bikes. They reach Dr. Han's lab and start looking for her. Larry and his business mate are under stress because they were supposed to close the deal history. To make the process hastily, Larry puts a cutter to Lan's face and asks her about the word. She in turn inquires what word, and it opens the program on the computer. Outdoors, Sloppy and Fist are guarding the place. Lee and Feng attack them and knock them out in no time. Still, they're soon brazened by Larry's right-hand man Bradley. He's a fighter. Hence, they struggle to master him, indeed, when teamed up. Inside the lab, Larry and his mate are about to seal the deal, but just also, Yu arrives and intimately frees his family and father. Lee also comes to their aid and helps them fight the mobsters. Amidst the chaos, Larry gets a hold of the wallet with the pen drive and runs outdoors. He's stopped Bitter, Han, Yu, and Lan who beat him up. In the meantime, Lee joins Feng again to fight against Bradley. Originally, they struggle, but they ultimately manage to master him. At last, the police arrive at the scene and save the day. In the ending scene, we see the Academy Star award Lee and Yu for their frippery. This is an action comedy film called The Shaolin Boy. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to watch more cine summaries like this, turn on notifications and press the like button to support us.